Hello and welcome to Loquitur Gaming. I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I've done so far on the channel. I'm going to play Memoir 44. I've played a lot of campaign games on the channel, some one-off games here and there, but I was really itching to get back to continuing to paint some of my other minis besides the campaign game minis, and I'd always wanted to finish painting my Memoir 44 stuff, or I shouldn't say finish, I should say start painting my Memoir 44 stuff. Memoir 44, this is kind of like the Board Gamers War game. It's a pretty fun game to me anyway. I have a huge amount of content for this game. Almost every expansion, I think, and I actually just recently got the new flight plan expansion. So I decided, hey, you know what? I've been really itching to play it, so I'll record a session. I've never played it the way I'm about to play it. I'm going to play it two-handed. I haven't looked into any of the solo stuff that I've seen online. I think some people have posted some different ways to play the game solo. I'm just going to play two-handed. I think I'm fair enough where I can think, what would this player actually want to do in this scenario? And I'll leave the hands face down, so I can't really just keep looking and say, oh, well, I know that player has this, so they're going to do that. And my memory is terrible for that kind of stuff anyway. So I've got set up here the very first scenario. It's called Pegasus Bridge. It's kind of a little learning scenario. It only has infantry units in it. It doesn't have the tank or the artillery. It does have a sandbag right there, and it has some of this barbed wire obstacles in it. There's some village tiles up here, or town tiles. A river. This is a pond. This is supposed to represent an impassable pond. And another river over here. So if you're not familiar with the game, the water hexes are impassable. You cannot cross them. And if you have to retreat into them, then you'll lose some guys that way too. The only way you can cross them is at these bridge hexes here. Those two bridge hexes. We've got the German player up here, and he's got a unit over here, and the Allied player down here. So this scenario, these are actually British troops. I've got them sort of painted in a US kind of look, and these are very quick paint jobs, but I think they came out looking pretty good. There's probably going to be some pictures at the beginning. But we can throw up a couple of guys here real quick to look at. A US and a German. They came out looking pretty cool. The way the German is hunched over, he looks a lot shorter than the US guy. Gives it a little different aesthetic when it's on the table. And then the sandbags are painted, and the barbed wire is painted up too. You can kind of see a little bit of the little shine on the barbed wire. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about the scenario. It's Pegasus Bridge. So a little bit of the story. And, playing the campaign games, a lot of the stuff I play on the channel kind of tells a little bit of a story. So when I play these kind of war games too, I like to I play it for the story and the fun. Just so this is going to be like a 3 or 4 sentence historical background. So this is on D-Day. These glider troops from the British Army were supposed to land, and they need to capture this bridge and this bridge over these waterways. So I think they were the only bridges over the waterway. And this bridge up here became known as Pegasus Bridge. It was heavily defended by a machine gun nest behind this sandbag here. So part of our objective, and you can see these little metal tokens, not metal with a T, but metal with a D, metal. They mark that these are victory point spaces for the Allied side. In a different scenario, if they were for the German side, then it would be the Iron Cross. And this side is actually the U.S. Congressional Medal of Honor, that token. So, generally a scenario will tell you how many of the command cards you're going to get into your hand at the beginning of the game. So the German player is only going to get 2 at the beginning of the game. Then after turn 1, he's going to draw 2 more, which will give him 4 cards. And then, let's see, draw 2 cards after turn 1 and 2 more after turn 2. which will get him up to 4 cards in his hand. The Allied player is going to get 6 cards, and it says that the Germans were surprised. So these guys kind of landed before the invasion to help secure some stuff. So we're surprising the German player a little bit here. The condition of victory is to get 4 medals. You get a medal by completely eliminating a unit. So like for this unit over here, if I knocked out all 4 of those guys there, then one gets moved down here to this track to show that that's a medal. The Allied player can also capture a bridge hex, and these will count as 1 victory medal. As long as the Allied unit remains on the bridge hex, it continues to count toward that victory point. If the unit moves off of it or the unit that's there gets eliminated, then that point no longer counts. So the German player either needs to eliminate 4 of my units. Well, I shouldn't say my because I'm playing both sides. But the German player either needs to eliminate 4 of the British units here, and the British player needs to either capture both bridges and eliminate 2 units, or capture 1 bridge and eliminate 3 units. Whoever gets to 4 medals first. So that's the scenario setup. What else? So we got some forests. The forests are a little bit of protection for a unit that's in there. If a unit moves into there, they have to stop moving though. I think the rest of it we can just go through. So this, I guess this sandbag, we talked about the sandbag here. If we fire into that, so these guys have a little bit of protection, we lose some dice, but if they leave, that sandbag goes away, so their protection will go away. I already said you can't go into the water. The town hexes are also a little bit of protection. You have to stop if you move into it. And the game is really cool and player friendly in that it comes with these terrain effect cards that they give you the summary of all of the rules for those hexes. This is a really brilliant system, command and colors system, designed by Richard Borg. So it was used here in Memoir 44. I also have the Civil War version, and then there's a Napoleonic version that's done by GMT. There's an Ancients version. I've seen a Revolutionary War version, and I think there was a World War I version, but I don't know. I don't think that one was as popular. So it's a really good system with these command cards, and it's just a board game. It's not a heavy, like Hex and Counter war game by any means. This will probably be a very quick play, other than the fact that I'm going to be talking a lot and trying to explain stuff. Plus, kind of remembering a little bit the rules, because while I love this game, it's been a while since I played, and I'm tired of waiting for the pandemic to end and to find someone to play with. So I'm just going to solo it for both sides. Two-handed, I guess it's also called. There's an online version of this game too that you can play, and I think you just get that from the Days of Wonder website maybe, or it's an app, I can't remember for sure. And there are a ton of expansions. This game is still in print too, and I also have recently read that they might be reprinting some of the older, harder to find expansions soon. So I'm going to have the German player's hand up here and the Allied player's hand down here, just close to their metal tracks. It's like the Allied player's metal track is here, so we'll put their cards down here, and the German player's metal track is up there, so we'll put their hand up here. So German player only is going to get 2 of these cards, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 for the Allied player. The scenario should tell us who goes first. The Allied player moves first, which makes sense because of the surprise. So I'm not even going to look at the German player's hand yet. So let's look at our hand. We got Air Power, which is a nice card. So this one just lets us target a group of units adjacent to each other. We might actually want to play this card first. There's a group right here that we want to pound out of there. This could be a lucky card for the Allies to get. Issue an order. So we got Recon, which will let us order a unit on this side. Direct from AQ lets us issue orders to any 4, and I'll show you how this works. Order 2 units in each section. Attack, go up the center, and assault is all on the left side. I think I want to use air power because I don't think air power... Yes, air power ignores terrain when you're rolling your dice. And you know what? I gotta grab a dice tray. Throw in a cut, grab a dice tray. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I got my my old tried and true trusty dice tray. I actually made this dice tray a long time ago from like a balsa wood type jewelry box thing that I got from, I think, Michael's, and I stained it, varnished it, put down some like rubber and then felt over it. Works great, and it cost me like $2 to make. So I think this is like the perfect card for the allies to get. So this is not going to be your normal turn where I'm going to be picking units to order, but I'll show you the card. So this card's air power. So I get to target a group of 4 or fewer enemy units adjacent to each other. Roll 2 battle dice per hex if this is an allied air attack, or 1 per hex if it's an Axis air attack. Ignoring any terrain battle die reduction, score a hit for each die that matches the unit's symbol, a grenade, or a star. For each flag, retreat 1 hex. Flags may not be ignored, which is important, and why I say this is probably like the perfect card. Because we're going to hit this group here. It's 4 or fewer units. This is a unit and this is a unit that are adjacent to each other. We've got these guys who are in those sandbags there. And if we take a look at the sandbag rules, normally the occupant may ignore the first flag, and flags will make people retreat, so we'll show that. But this air power card says that flags may not be ignored. So that's good. And also normally we've got over here that if it was an infantry firing into there, they would get 1 less die, and if it was a tank firing into there, we would get 1 less die. But we get to ignore all of that because it's not infantry or tank, it's air power shooting into there. Okay, so it also said that you want the unit's symbol, a grenade, or a star. So normally you're trying to roll on these dice the symbol of the type of unit you're attacking. It's either an infantry unit, if I'm attacking infantry, a tank unit, or there's also grenades. Grenades hit everything. So the unit symbol, so we need infantry symbols, which there's 2 on here, so 2 out of 6. A grenade or a star. Stars normally are misses unless you have a card that says they do something like we do right now. And it says we get to roll 2 of these dice per hex. And I actually get to pick the order. And we're going to attack this unit in the front first. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. I was thinking that they wouldn't be able to retreat, but there's a bridge there, so they can retreat back to there. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So let's get the dice tray over here. We'll go against this hex in the front first. So I rolled a star and a grenade. So that's 2 hits. That's 2 of these Germans gone. And normally well, I guess the dice would have been different. Yeah, so it's great that that sandbag, I can ignore that sandbag. Okay, let's go against this one back here. We rolled a star and a tank, so we're not fighting a tank unit, so that does nothing. But we did roll a star, and because the card says it's a star counts, we get to remove 1 from the guys in the back. Now normally, this attack would have just completely whiffed if I was shooting at them with like an infantry unit or somebody, because I was not shooting at a tank, and a star is normally a miss. So that was a good result. Getting that unit out of that sandbag spot is probably a good plan. Okay, so that was the allied player's turn. At the end of the turn, you draw a replacement card. We got an ambush. After opponent declares a close assault, but before he rolls his battle dice, play this card. Oh, you know what? I should have looked at the German's hand in case he had something similar to this. So this basically, you get to do an attack. If someone's doing a close assault against you, which means that you're adjacent to each other, you get to trump in and say, wait, I get to attack you first, and potentially maybe eliminate them. Well, I hope the German player did not have something that could have helped him there. Their finest hour behind enemy lines. So their finest hour is roll 1 battle die for each command card you have, including this card. For each unit symbol rolled, 1 unit of that type is ordered. For each star rolled, 1 unit of your choice. Ordered units battle with 1 additional die. No, that's cool. Behind enemy lines, issue an order to 1 infantry unit. Units may move up to 3 hexes. Unit may battle with 1 additional die, then move again up to 3 hexes. Terrain movement restrictions are ignored. Terrain battle restrictions still apply. If you do not command any infantry units, issue an order to 1 unit of your choice. I was hoping we would have gotten a more traditional card. So the German player needs to get over here to protect these bridges. I've already lost some units at the German player here. Yeah, we want to protect this bridge, and we probably want to bring these guys down. These guys should probably come here to get into this forest. If I play their finest hour, see, but both of these help when you're fighting, and because you get additional battle die. But their finest hour is pretty risky. Behind enemy lines gives you... Well, actually, behind enemy lines, this is kind of interesting. The unit can move up to 3 hexes. Unit may battle with 1 additional die, then move again up to 3 hexes. Terrain movement restrictions are ignored. So we've got some wire here, which I think means that we can just move through it. We don't have to stop, since we can ignore movement restrictions. Wow, I wish we would have got a more traditional card to play first here. Their finest hour is much better when you have more cards. I may just want to order this unit with behind enemy lines, even though it's not going to move, to shoot here. No, I know what I'm going to do. Probably not the best use of this card, but whatever. So this is the card I'm talking about, behind enemy lines. I can issue an order to 1 infantry unit, and I'm going to mark units, and you'll see why later, that I'm giving orders to with these little beads. Right now it's only 1 unit, so it's not that hard to remember, but this is the unit I'm issuing an order to. You don't have to do that in the normal game, but since I'm recording and talking, I'm just trying to help me remember who I've issued orders to. The unit moves up to 3 hexes, then you may battle with 1 additional die, then move again up to 3 hexes. Terrain movement restrictions are ignored. Yeah, I already read all that. Battle restrictions still apply. Okay, so I cannot move across rivers, but I can shoot across rivers. So we're going to order this unit. This unit's going to move here. It could move up to 3 hexes, but I'm fine with it staying there because I just want to get within 2 of this unit. And the way you think about how many dice you're going to get to roll in combat is there's this little helpful card that shows you infantry units, those number of hexes that are away from the infantry unit. So like this here, if the target is right next to it, you get to roll 3 dice. 2 hexes away, 2, 3 hexes away, 1. Farther than that, it's just, you can't do it. tanks, there are no tanks in this game, but tanks get to roll 3 dice against anybody who's within 3, and artillery can shoot farther with diminishing returns, just like the infantry one. And you can see on there that infantry can move either 0 through 1 with under normal circumstances. This is kind of a special card we've got going here. Can move. They don't have to move, or they can move 1 and also battle, or they can move up to 2 and not fight. Or tanks can move up to 3 and still fight. And then taking ground is if you're right next to it, you can go into the hex if they have to retreat out. We're doing a special thing though, so we're going to move just 1. Then I'm going to attack. Now normally range 2 I'd only get 2 dice, but the card lets me battle with 1 additional die. And I am looking for because I'm shooting at an infantry unit, I'm looking for either the infantry symbol or grenades to do damage to that guy. So we got 2 grenades. Then this card lets this unit move again up to 3 hexes. So we're going to move onto the bridge space. Go 1, 2. With the terrain, it says terrain movement restrictions are ignored. Normally I'd have to stop moving in the town, but I think because it says terrain restrictions are ignored, that I can just go right through. I think that's how that works. I know I'm talking a lot about the rules, but I'm not a rules expert on this game. It's been a long time since I played, so little things like that might not be correct, but this is more of a, hey, let's throw some dice and have fun kind of game. And now for the scenario rules, the German player gets to draw 2 cards at the end of turn 1. So we drew a direct from HQ and a probe. Okay. All right. I just put these allied guys right where I was keeping the dice tray. Maybe direct from HQ. Let's just issue orders to 4 units of our choice, or 2 units in each section. We don't have any units over here. We haven't really talked about the sections yet. So what's my general plan here? So these 3 units are going to chase after this bridge. So they're going to move up this direction. These barbed wire obstacles are kind of an issue. A unit has to stop when they move into there. You are allowed to battle out of it at a -1 die. Instead of battling, you can destroy the obstacle as well, which might be something good for these guys to do in case one of the other guys needs to get up close. But this looks pretty rough. I don't know if it's kind of a long way around for these guys to go around the pond that way. I might send 2 of them up this way and 1 around the long way just in case these guys need help over here. It is 3 on 2 over here, so this bridge is probably a done deal. And we might not even need to take any of the bridges if we just eliminate 4 complete German units as the allied player. So I think we're going to do direct from HQ. So this is another one that's not like a traditional command card. So this one just gives me the choice of 4 units to give orders to. So the first thing you're supposed to do is identify the units you're going to give orders to. I'm going to order this unit here And I think I want to get these guys moving to this bridge, like maybe before, get closer before these guys. Plus I want to get some guys over this line. We could take a pot shot over the river if we got right here. No, because if we move 2, we can't shoot. I think I'm going to move up and take out these obstacles with those guys, and maybe we'll move this unit here. So I've identified the 4 units that I'm going to give orders to. Then I move. So I'll start with this one. I'm going to move 2, and when I move 2, I cannot shoot. So I'm going to take away the orders thing just to know that that unit is done for the turn. This unit actually won't be able to take care of the obstacle this turn, so this unit here is going to move into this hex with this obstacle. They would have to stop. They're only going to move 1 anyway, but they still get to battle. They still have a battle action because I only moved 1 space. These guys, I think we will just move up 1 so we can take a shot, even though it's going to be a low probability shot. It's a dice game, so you never know. So they moved 1, and we'll move these guys 2. And they will not be able to shoot because they moved 2. So then you go into battle, 1 unit at a time. Now these guys here, instead of battling, I'm going to elect to remove the wire obstacle. So they're not shooting. Because if they did shoot, they would shoot out at a -1. So let's start with where their dice would start at. They'd start at 3 because they're right next to that unit that they'd be targeting. When you're next to a unit, you have to target the unit next to you, I'm pretty sure. Because you're kind of like engaged with that unit. I couldn't elect to say maybe shoot at these guys over here. We haven't really talked about line of sight or anything yet, because right now it's still been pretty straightforward. But things do block line of sight, like you can't shoot through forest, you can't shoot through other units, can't shoot through a town. If there were hills, there are no hills, you can't shoot through a hill, and things like that. So they would start with 3. They lose 1 for shooting out of a hex with the obstacle, and they would lose another 1 because those guys are behind a sandbag. So it's either 1 die, or I get rid of the obstacle for maybe these guys to advance and not have that restriction later. So I'm just going to choose to remove the obstacle with them. Now these guys can battle. This unit here does not block their line of sight to this unit because you kind of like draw a line from hex to hex, and if it goes along the edge, you're fine. But if the unit was like right here and I tried to shoot, I can't shoot through a unit. So here to here is okay. So we start with 2 because we're 2 spaces away. They're behind a sandbag, so we get to roll 1 die. And we're looking for an infantry symbol or a grenade. And if we roll a flag, they get to ignore the first flag result, so that will not do anything. And we got an infantry symbol. So that's another figure taken out of the unit. And that's my battle step. We drew a recon and force. It's a nice card. All right. Now I think we might do the direct from HQ on this side also. We get to pick 4 units. This unit's going to fire on that unit. And having less little figures in your unit does not affect how many dice you roll. It's the distance. These guys are going to move up and take the bridge. These guys are going to move up to the forest for a defensive position. And I think we'll move these guys up to get them into the fray. So I've picked the units I'm going to order. Now we issue moves. So we'll do this one first. Since they're moving 2, they will not get to shoot. But they are not going to make it easy. Actually, I wonder if I should just move 1 and take the pot shot. Holding the bridge right now actually doesn't make a difference. Because if I do that, I don't get any defensive bonuses from the bridge. Yeah. The bridge does not block line of sight, I don't think. No, bridges do block line of sight, so I can't shoot through. Let's move to here then. And we will take a shot there. So let's put our marker back, because they still get to battle. These guys are going to move 2. He's not going to move. He will shoot when it's time to shoot, and these guys are going to move 2. Let's get a little closer. That's our move phase. We go to battle phase. So these guys are 1, 2, 3 away. They get 1 die. So we're just looking for infantry or a grenade, or even a flag would be fine here, because that would make them retreat. And we rolled a tank. Does nothing, because we're not shooting at a tank unit. Now here, he's up close and personal with a 3, but this is where, if I was really playing the game, against an opponent, the opponent would probably play this ambush card now. After an opponent declares a close assault, but before he rolls his battle dice, play this card. Roll your battle dice first. If an opponent's unit wasn't eliminated or forced to retreat, it may then attack normally. So this is kind of a bummer for the German player. Let's just leave this here. Because now the Allied player, the British player in this case, normally would start with 3, but I'm attacking into sandbags, so I have to reduce it by 1. The first flag result is ignored. Well, this is actually some good luck for the German player. First flag result is ignored because of the sandbag, and the British player rolled a tank, so no damage done. And the Allied player would get to draw their card first, so we'll take that command card. So good plan. I would do that all day. Just didn't pan out. So now the German player gets to attack, and he gets a lot. He is right up next to him, so it's a 3 dice. No terrain bonuses for this guy here. Whoa, 3 grenades. 3 grenades. So that eliminates this unit, and the last figure from... Normally you'd start over there and count over, but I'm just going to count like this because I'm playing on this side of the board. German player has 1 medal. That's the battle phase. That card is done. And now at the end of turn 2, because of the scenario, the German player draws 2 command cards and now should have 4. And now the German player will just have 4 cards in hand moving forward. So counterattack. German player is not getting good cards. Even though right now he's currently quote-unquote winning, he's not getting good cards. Counterattack is an interesting card. If it comes up, we'll play that. You basically get to copy the card that the player just played. Yeah. Armor Assault would allow you to command 4 armor units and get additional dice. But if you don't have any armor units, then you just get to command 1 unit with it. But the German just did his turn. So we can order 3 units in the center. This unit in the trees over here is kind of a problem. We've got 2 of these order 3 units in the center cards. We're going to do General Advance. This is a pretty good card. So this is the first kind of like basic card that we've seen played so far. So the way this works, so it says issue an order to 2 units in each section. And the board is divided into 3 sections by these red lines. You've got left, center, and right. For the player playing on the other side, theirs would be reverse, so it would be left, center, and right. And normally the cards are broken down into, like, this one says, you know, 3 units in the center, 3 units in the center. There are some that are units on the left, but this one is allowing us to order 2 units in each section. Now, units that are straddling the line can be counted as being in either section. So we're going to order this unit, that unit. For this section over here, we also get to pick 2. We've only got 1 unit in that section though, so that's the one for that section. And we need to bring up some help. So I think we'll get this guy. And let's get this guy moving. So we've got 2 here, 2 in the center. I didn't do this fire over here. Oops. We got to backtrack. Back to the German turn. He gets a pot shot. He's 3 spaces away. He gets to roll 1 die against that unit. Star, it was a miss. I was so wrapped up in this over here. Or did I actually do that? Oh, I can't remember. Good thing it was a miss. Okay, so that was the issuing order phase. Now we go to movement. We'll move these guys 1 so they can still fight. We'll move these guys 2 so they will not be able to fight. Oops, I shouldn't have taken that away. They can still fight. These guys can move 2 and they will not be able to fight. Do I deal with those guys so they're just not pelting me? I get 1 less die attacking into the forest. Yeah, let's take care of this forest unit first. So we're going to move 1, still be able to fight. And these guys will move 2, can't fight. And these guys 2, and can't fight. Let's do this one over here first. So we would start with 3 because we're right next to them, but we lose 1 because they're in a forest. I rolled a grenade and a tank, so that's just 1 unit taken out. Now over here, we're right next to them. So it's 3, but they're in a sandbag, so 2. And he doesn't have any cards to prevent it, right? No. He does not. So 2 dice. Got a grenade. The flag would normally be ignored, but we got the grenade. So he is eliminated. And I'm pretty sure the sandbag goes away because it says if the unit leaves, take it away, but I'm wondering if eliminated. Let's just check the rules real quick. Real quick. When a unit leaves a hex with sandbags, the sandbags are removed. Well, I'm sure there's an answer to this somewhere, like in an FAQ or something. I'm going to consider the unit being eliminated as the unit leaving the hex. Now, as the allied player in a close assault like that, it doesn't really matter for the allied player, but as the attacking player in a close assault like that, if you eliminate the enemy unit or force it to retreat, you can take ground by advancing into the vacated hex. Artillery can't do it. It's different if you're a tank. Yeah. So we might as well. I mean, that leaves us open for stronger attacks against us. Is that smart? I mean, it's thematic. We're supposed to be running towards the bridges, right? And he draws a card. Issue an order to all infantry units in one section. Units may move up to 2 and still battle, or move 3 and not battle. That's a good one. We might play that next time, because we can really get some of these guys moving even more. All right. I think the German player wants to play this counterattack card. So issue the same order just played by your opponent. When countering a section card, a right section card becomes the equivalent left, blah, blah, blah. If you're counterattacking infantry, the counterattack will occur in the same section as your opponent. So basically, by playing this card, the German player is going to get to copy the general advance card that the Allied player just played. 2 units in each section. And that's basically going to be all of our units. This one is the 2 over there, this guy in the middle, and these 2 in this section over here on the German player's right side. So those are the orders. Now we go to move. We're not moving out of the forest. Right now we would not be able to shoot here because the bridge would block. Like if we went from the center to the center, it goes through the hex, not along the edge. So that would block. So we might as well move onto the bridge. And I'll still be able to shoot. They're going to be able to shoot. They're going to be able to attack. They will be able to attack. Yeah, we might as well move these guys into the village town space. Now, when you move into a town space, if you move into there, you cannot battle on the same turn, unless you're a French resistance unit, but we don't have any special units in this scenario. So we just go to combat then. Normally you should do like your long distance stuff kind of first. I guess in this case it doesn't matter too much. If they retreat, they got to move back here. We'll actually do this one first, because if they have to retreat, they'll still be within range of this guy. Something you do want to consider. So it's a close assault, right up, and personal. Next hex over. So they get to roll 3 dice. Oopsie, that doesn't count. Only stuff in the dice tray. Oh boy. Infantry, infantry, flag. So resolving the battle first, you do the hits and then the retreats. So this is the first time we've had a retreat. We've got 2 hits, the 2 infantry symbols, and 1 flag. So they have to take 1 step back towards their side of the board. So they're going to come back here. They don't want to go here because that puts them in close. This guy would get to roll more dice against them, so they have to go there. Their two choices were here or here for one step back. Now, that was them. Now these guys will shoot. 2 spaces away is 2 dice. And we got 1 infantry symbol and a tank, so 1 guy goes. And this unit is doing pretty bad right now as far as health goes. So let's do... Now, these guys had the option of advancing into that space, but I don't want to leave the forest. They've got some defensive bonus there, and we're trying to hold this side. We're trying to hold this bridge over here. Let's do these guys first against them. They're up close and personal. I think we could put our dice tray down right there. So it's 3 dice. Nothing else special here. So we rolled 2 tanks and a flag. So the tanks do nothing, but the flag makes them retreat, and they got to move back towards their side of the board. Now the German player could advance, which I think I'm going to... Oh, if I do that, then these guys won't be able to shoot at him. But they could shoot... They could take a pot shot at these guys down here, maybe? It would not go through the forest if I look center to center. It's close. It's a close call, but it won't. I think we will advance because that gives these guys a way to get across the bridge also. We don't really get any defensive bonuses for being on the bridge, so we might as well. So these guys are just going to skirt the line of sight in between this unit and the forest to be able to see these guys back here. It's 3 hexes away, so they get 1. The obstacle does not block line of sight. Yeah. Hey, they got an infantry symbol. So that worked out. And they get to draw a card. So they got counterattack. They got the same card they just played with different art. That's cool. There's one that has Allied art on it, and there's another one that has German art on it, Axis art. Okay. Did they shoot? Yeah, they missed, right? Talking too much, not paying attention. So recon, we only get to use 1 unit to attack, but then we get to draw 2 cards and pick one, discard the other. With assault, we could move both of those units. Do we have another one that lets us move a bunch? Infantry assault lets us order all infantry. Yeah, we're definitely playing infantry assault. So everybody's going to get a bead. Oopsie. I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing this time. Which implies that I don't really pay attention every other time. Right? Okay, so those are the folks that I'm giving orders to. Now this one, I can move guys up to 2 hexes and still battle, or move 3 and not battle. But terrain movement and battle restrictions still apply. So the first thing I'm going to do, I can move up to 2 hexes and still battle. We'll check this out. 1, 2, We'll be assaulting these guys on the bridge. So they still get to go. These guys, 1, 2, 3. I'm retreating with that unit. Maybe just 2. It's gonna be too far away to shoot. I'm retreating because I don't want this to just be an easy point for the German player. Let's move 2 and take a pot shot at the guy in the forest. This is a good card. These guys are going to move 3 around the pond, and they will not be able to attack. So we'll take their bead. Those guys are just going to fight. We'll move these guys into the trees. Now normally when you move into a forest, you cannot battle, so I'll have to take their bead. I think I'm going to move into here, and I might just take the negative effect of having an obstacle in my space. These guys we will move 3. Now I'm moving to this spot very specifically. Number 1, it puts me on the line. So with a left or a center card, I could command that unit. And it's also leaving open retreat lanes. And what I mean by that is just say, for example, I had moved them here. So let's say there was, if I had moved them here. If these guys were attacked and got a retreat result, this is impassable terrain. They can't move back there. So every space that you can't retreat, that you're supposed to retreat, you lose one of your figures. So if I was here and not here, this guy would not have anywhere to be able to retreat to. By leaving it this way, these guys can retreat this way, these guys can retreat this way, and these guys can retreat this way. So I've left open some retreat lanes for them. Okay, now we've got 4 units that can still fight. So let's start here. We're doing a 3 dice attack on the unit in the bridge. Two grenades. So we did not get any retreats, so they don't give up the bridge space. Now we will take a shot. This is blocked, so these guys can't shoot there, but these guys can shoot into here. So normally we'd start with 2, shooting into forest, we only get 1. That's why I call it a pot shot, because it's just going to be a chance at a lucky roll, and that's not a lucky roll. Now let's do this one first. We'll do our disadvantaged attack first. So we have a mine obstacle, which we, as an infantry player, battle out with 1 less die. So we're only going to get 2 dice against this unit right next to us. We got a infantry and a flag. So infantry, we take a guy, and then a flag, they have to retreat a space. We are definitely going to take the space. Now these guys, because it'd be right along the hex side, could shoot here or here. Shooting into the town would be a -1 attack. So we might as well shoot at the guys on the bridge. They're not really getting any benefit for being on the bridge, I don't think. Just as the bridge is block line of sight. But if they're on the space, you don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, I guess we fire at them with 2 dice because they're 2 spaces away. And we got a star and a tank, which is nothing. All right. Draw a replacement card. It's a normal probe card for the center. going to go to the German player. And I think the German player, because he got lucky enough and got a second counterattack, he's going to play counterattack again and just copy that infantry assault. The kind of infantry assault card, the counterattack must occur in the same section. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I totally screwed that up. Well, because I totally screwed it up, the German player is going to get the same benefit that the Allied player did. I did not finish reading that first sentence, so asterisks already. It's issue in order to all infantry units in one section. I got too excited by the all infantry. So I should have only picked one section to move guys. I actually am not sure that it would have changed that much. I think because almost everybody was in the center except for these guys. And their attack did not do any damage, so I'm going to move them back. We had all those guys down here that moved, and this guy was on here. So if I would have chosen the center section, yeah, I think it would not have changed too much. So I think we're actually pretty okay. We'll just move those guys back. But now, knowing that, does the German player want to do something different? Two units on that side. Or let's do their finest hour. So their finest hour, this one might, oh, oops, I still have the infantry assault card up there. We're going to do their finest hour. So with this one here, we roll 4 dice, because it's 1 die for each command card you have, including that one. So I've got 3 other ones in my hand in that card, so 4 dice. And then you get to order a unit that matches the symbol. So we're looking for infantry symbols or stars, because star is kind of like a wild for this card. But then every unit that we actually do get to order this way gets an extra combat die, which is cool. So we're going to roll 4 dice, and we're looking for stars or infantry symbols here to tell us how many units we can give orders to. We got 3 infantry symbols, so we get to order 3 units, and we get to pick those units. So we're just going to go with the ones who are up close and personal to people. We'll pick that one there, those guys, and the guys on the bridge. This could be pretty devastating for the Allied player. We shall see. So none of these guys need to move. These guys first, right up close and personal. They're going to get 4 dice because of the bonus from the card for the combat here. So they got 1 infantry symbol and 2 flags. 1, 2. Pushed them back. Now let's do these guys first, because these guys could always take a pot shot into the forest if these guys retreat. So yeah, I'll start with these guys here, and that's going to be another 4 dice attack because they're right next to them. Oh, this is bad for the Allied player. 2 infantry and a grenade. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is really bad for the Allied player because no retreats were rolled. Because now this unit right next to him gets to do another 4 die attack. And that's probably going to be the end of that unit. Yeah, we got an infantry, a grenade, and a retreat, so it's wiped out. Since it's the last guy from that unit, it goes as a medal. So the German player is winning at the moment. He's going to get a replacement card. All units in the center. He's only got 1 unit in the center. Not a good card for him. All units in the center would be great for the Allied player right now. He's got an all on the left flank, which is 2, 1 in each section. Three units. Oh, we've got these 3 units in the center. Yes. I think that's what we're going to do. So we get to pick 3 units in the center section. Let's go with this full strength unit here. He's in the center. I think I want to move this guy up 1 to take a shot here. I'm wondering if we ignore this and just try to do like maybe a full attack out of the center over onto the right. Now we don't really have a whole lot of other cards that'll help us. If we get too many guys over here in the right side, then we don't have a whole lot of cards that will help us give them orders in the future, which is another thing you got to take into consideration. I kind of want my guys to stay in the center. Let's move these guys. I mean, this unit only has 2 guys left. He's going to move up and take a shot. If I move them over there, I'm almost thinking I move this 4 figure unit into this space because it'll still be in the center and on the right, and I can take the same shot that these guys would get. Those are the 3 units I'm going to issue orders to. So now we move. These guys are moving 1 so they can still shoot. Oops, I got to take this off. We'll hop these guys over. They can still shoot, and these guys will move 1. They can still shoot. They're going to shoot first at the bridge. So the bridge is 2 spaces away. Just messed up my pond. They're not getting any benefit, any defensive benefit from the bridge. Yeah. Okay. So 2 dice, 2 spaces away. We got a flag and a star, so they just have to retreat. Now that was not a close combat, so we don't get to advance a hex. Let's fight into the forest. So it would be 3, but it's a forest, so it's only 2. We got an infantry symbol, so they lose a guy. But they don't have to retreat. We would really like to be able to take that forest hex from them. Here, the wire does not block line of sight and no defensive bonus, so we're going to shoot here. 2 dice. That was really weird. These dice have like a little tiny cutout in the corner, and that one was totally standing on its edge. But we got a star and a tank, so that was not good. Get our replacement card. Another recon on the left. Okay, and then we go over here. Probe, counterattack. He does not have a lot of guys in the center, so that doesn't make sense. And he's got all for the center. That doesn't make sense either. I think the best thing for him to do is to probe, which gives him the ability to order 2 units on this side of the board for him, which is both of those big ones there. Is that what he wants to do? Counterattack doesn't do anything for him right now. Neither does assault. I think, yeah, it's what he's got to do. So he's issuing orders to these 2. So these guys will come forward 1 and can still shoot. And these guys will come forward 1. They also can still shoot, and they could get a shot at these guys. It's far, but they can still shoot. So why don't we start with that? It's not blocked by these guys. So it's 1, 2, 3. Hey, they got a flag. We'll count that as a flag. Holding it up in the air, trying not to disturb my board and still have it on camera. It's creating some weird angles, I think. So they shot. Now these guys will shoot here. 2 spaces away. We'll shoot at these guys here. It's 2 spaces away. No, we're going to shoot these guys because right now they can come into an empty hex. These guys are blocked by the obstacles. They can still go in there, but they'll be at a disadvantage if they try to attack out of it. So they're going to shoot here, trying to force them back a little. We got a grenade and a tank. So 1 guy gone from the grenade. All right, so that was the probe. He gets a replacement card. Pincer move. Ooh, this is a good card for the German player next turn. Now, I think we are going to, I think we're going to play Recon and Force. Is that the best card? 3 units in the middle, 2, 1. Yeah, I think Recon and Force. So Recon and Force is 1 in each section. So we're going to pick this unit here as our left-hand section because he's on the dotted line. Same thing here. This unit here as our center unit, and this unit here as our right-hand unit. First is movement. These guys will move 1 and can still fight. These guys are going to move 2 onto the bridge. So right now we technically have another medal for holding the bridge. They cannot fight because they moved 2. Those guys are going to stay there and continue fighting those guys in the forest. So this is a precarious position for these guys because if they have to retreat, that's going to be bad news for them because they don't have anywhere to retreat directly back towards the edge of the board. So let's start over here. We get 3 dice. Ooh. Now, so they're supposed to retreat 2 spaces. They cannot retreat, so they lose a figure. For each space they cannot retreat, so they lose 2. But he's not dead yet. Here we've got normally 3, but only 2 because it's a forest space. 1 grenade and 1 star, so that's 1 guy, and he still doesn't give up the hex. Yeah, and that's it. Those guys could not fight. And the replacement card is another recon. We've got 3 recons in our hand. Okay, so I know for sure this is the card the German player wants to play. So this is pincer move. He gets to order 2 units on each flank. I think this is the best card for him in his hand right now. So he's going to order here, 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 and here. Nobody needs to move. So we're just going to skip movement and go to fighting. So we'll start with this 3 dice attack here. It might make this guy's attack obsolete. Depending on how many, if he rolls any flags, we'll do it. Let's get the 3 dice attack. No, I don't know what the strategy is here. Do I do the 2 dice attack here, and then if they have to retreat, this guy at least still gets to attack? Yeah, we'll do this guy first. So 2 dice into here, not blocked because it's along the hex side. So we got a star and a tank, so it didn't do anything anyway. Now here he's got 3 dice. 1 infantry symbol, and they hold their ground. We fight into the trees here. 2 dice, 2 infantry symbols. So that's a German player or a German unit eliminated. So right now the Allied player has 3 medals. We've got 1 for the bridge and 2 German units destroyed. What am I talking about? The other guy is attacking out of the forest. Did I roll 1 or 2? I think it was 1. Read everything I just said. Now here it's 3 dice onto the guys on the bridge. 2 infantry symbols. Okay. Did not knock the Allied player off of the bridge. And he's still got some fairly good sized units. The Allied player is probably happy he retreated this 1 unit, or this 1 figure unit, because that would have been an easy picking. All right, so the German player's new card is an assault on this flank over here. So we've got these recon cards. Oh, he doesn't get to turn his. We can order 3 units in the center. 2 units in the center, or we can do these recons. I think we're going to order 3 units in the center. Kind of trying to set up a little bit here. I want to get these guys around into the forest. They can shoot out fairly well. They just need to not get eliminated. So though we've only got 3 units in the center. Having seen that, I'm going to switch to the 2 units in the center and just not order this 1 guy unit. Do that guy and that guy. We're getting a little starved for some good cards to use here for the Allied player. So we get to the movement phase. We'll move 2 and not attack. These guys can retreat this direction because it's towards our side of the board, so we're fine. These guys are going to move 2 and not attack also, but get into a good position for future attacking. So the Allied player is not happy with his hand at the moment. The German player is going to assault with all units in the center. which is basically 2. This unit still counts in the center because he's right on the line. So he will attack, and they will go. So we get to move. We'll move these guys up here. Try to drive those British guys out, or they still get to attack. We'll try to drive those British guys out of the forest there. And we just go to combat. So this guy here against those guys there. 2. So that's both of them. That's the 3rd medal for the German player. He's not going to take the ground. Here would be 3, but it becomes 2 because of the forest. And that's 1. Okay. Now you can see you can really get into a rhythm with this game, especially if you've got 2 people who are pretty familiar with the rules. You know what you want to do. You pick your card and you go. The German player needs a new card. Move out. Issue an order to 4 infantry units. He's got 5, so that's a good card for him for next turn. Assuming the game goes another turn, because the allied player... I don't think the allied player... Well, I could take a pot shot at that guy and maybe eliminate him. I need to eliminate 2 units, though. That guy and that guy. So what do I have? Not a lot. Wow. So we're going to play one of these recon cards, because this recon card is going to give us the ability to maybe get a better card from the deck. So recon here, we only get to order 1 unit, but at the end of the turn when we draw cards, we draw 2, choose 1 and discard the other one. And we're going in the center. We're going to pick these guys against those guys there. I'm not going to mark them because it's the only one, and I'm pretty sure I can remember when I'm only ordering 1 unit. And they get 3 dice. And they got 2 infantry symbols. They did not drive the guy back, though. So there's some pretty weak German units out there. Okay, end of the turn, we get to draw 2 and pick 1. So probe lets us order 2 units on this side. Assault lets us order all of our units on this side. We're going to take the assault card. Okay, the German player. Move out lets him issue orders to 4 units. They will shoot. They will shoot. They can't see anybody. That's too far. He can take a pot shot and they can assault into the forest, I guess. He only needs to eliminate 1 more unit. So let's do this. We'll go this way across the board. So we'll start here. It's 3 dice onto the bridge. One infantry symbol and 2 retreats. So 1, 2. Or no, we'll go 1, 2. Moving towards our side of the board. So they lost that victory hex. And we most definitely will take it. So it's just not an easy grab of a point at next turn. That was a pretty good roll. Now this one here. 2 infantry symbols. It's not good. That leaves a very weak unit. From here in, because of the forest, it's only 2 dice. Uh-oh. That's game over. That's 4 medals. And just for fun to finish it out, 1, 2, 3 is one shot down here, and a symbol, and an infantry symbol. So the Germans were pretty banged up. They had quite a few units that were poised to fall. 3 that were poised to fall. We had the bridge for a little while, but the Allied units also had 3 units that were down to only 1 man. But the game goes to 4 medals, and that's 4 medals for the German player. All right, there you have it. That's a playthrough of Memoir 44, the very first training scenario, Pegasus Bridge. Let me just double check. Yeah, 4 medals is the victory condition. All right, if you know this game or if you have any questions about this game, leave me comments down below. Let me know things that you saw that I did wrong. There's probably some other stuff that I missed. There's a lot going on when you're trying to play both sides and talking, making sure you're constantly saying things to the camera. Again, I just want to do something different on the channel. I've got a couple other different things planned in addition to continuing on the other series that I've currently got going. But I really like this game, and I've got a ton of content for it, and I'm tired of it just sitting on my shelf, so I'm going to play it. It's a really fun game. And there are tactics to think about. You got to think about the retreat lane staying open. You got to think about, like when I retreated this guy, because I didn't want him to just be easy pickings as a free point. When the game could have been over earlier if I had just left this guy up there to die as a free medal. Okay, who knows what would have happened with this area on D-Day if this had been truly what happened, where the Germans at least held back the initial assault on these bridges over these rivers. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're enjoying all the other series on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.